So I tried online dating and I have some thoughts. What's up, y'all? It's Rachel Elizabeth. You're watching Real Talk with Rach. Today I want to tell you about an experience I recently had with online dating and singleness and God and how that relates to fitness. And first, before I say anything, I want you to know that not every video is going to be some life lesson tied to fitness, but it seems to work out pretty often, and especially today. So here it goes. Recently, over the holidays, I decided to join an online dating website, app, whatever you want to call it. I felt peace about it. I didn't feel anxious about jumping into something new. I felt like I was ready. The reason why I did it is irrelevant, really, but I'm bringing that up because just a week ago, I was having my quiet time with God, and He basically revealed to me that I was running ahead of Him, running ahead of His plans and His timing in an area of my life. And when I asked what that was, online dating was the thing. And I realized that for me personally, that meant that I wasn't waiting well. I wasn't being purposefully single. And that's kind of where I want to land today. The difference between waiting well or purposefully waiting and not waiting well or anxious waiting. First of all, I do want to mention that sometimes online dating is perfect for you, and I have nothing against it. I would just say, make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. You're not doing it anxiously or desperately or trying to fill some void in your life, because that's not gonna fix it. The only thing that can really fulfill you is God first, and then trusting Him to bring the right person. Now, sometimes God uses online dating and kind of leads us to that option. But I just would advise you to be very careful and discerning in the reason behind your wanting to do that, if that's something you're pursuing. For me personally, as it turns out, I was not doing that for the right reason. There was nothing bad about me doing this in my experience, but I'm trying to do things God's way, not my way, and that makes things just a little bit more specific. And by that, I mean, we have free will. God will never let us go too far outside of His will. He will course correct. But there is the choice you can make to follow God even closer and really ask for His will over yours in your life. So that's basically surrendering your own free will and following the Spirit's lead. And that's a whole different subject. But for now, I just want to focus on the difference between anxiously waiting and purposeful waiting. So, specifically for the singles, but I'm sure that people who are not single can get something out of this too. Because like I said, we're going to be talking about how this relates to fitness as well. So, as far as singleness goes, there's anxious waiting and there's purposeful waiting. Anxious waiting is when you are desperate to find someone. You really, really, really more than anything want to be in a relationship, so you do anything in your power to get into a relationship. Most of the time, it's really an unhealthy thing, because if you're forcing something to work, it's usually not gonna work out. Sometimes it does, but be really careful with checking yourself and checking your motives all the time and everything. Specifically for dating, because that means you're taking another person's life into yours. And if you're not ready and you're unhappy and you think somebody else is going to make you happy, you're just going to get into a relationship and find out you're still unhappy and make them miserable at the same time. So that leads me to what purposeful waiting is. Purposeful waiting is trusting that God's timing is the best timing, and He's going to present you, ladies, to the man that He has for you when the time is right. Or purposeful waiting for you men is seeking God's will for your life and getting to know who He is and working on your spiritual growth, and this is ladies too, but then trusting God that He is going to present the woman to you when the time is right. Another side note, I don't want you to think that I believe in soulmates, because the truth is, I don't. I believe that God has people that He is setting aside for you, but if you happen to miss that opportunity, it's not like you missed the boat and you're never going to be in a relationship. Basically, like I said, He course corrects. I don't believe there's one person for every person. That would just make a mess of everything if you missed your opportunity, right? So anyway, back to what I was saying. Purposeful waiting is understanding that there's a time and a season for everything in life. And if you are single, it is an opportunity. It is not a burden. It is a blessing, and it's a gift. And it's time that you won't have when you are in a relationship someday. So I just want you to know that this has not always been my mindset. In fact, it was just last week, like I said, that I had this kind of, I guess, revelation or realization. And before that, I would have told you, and I still believe, that I am unwilling to settle, but I was still being anxious about it. Let's put it this way, one of my biggest desires is to be married and have a family. I want to be married to my best friend. I want to have kids. I want to do all of that. I want a family of my own. And I'm 33 and I'm still single. And I don't believe that I have been desperately looking, but at the same time, it has been top of mind. And I haven't necessarily used all of my single time as strategically as I could, if that makes sense. Coming back to this purposeful waiting, this time has been given to me in order to get to know God better, to work on my ministry, to work on my business, to spend more time with my friends that need me, to sit there and listen to them and spend quality time with them. Not that that's going to necessarily vanish if I'm in a relationship, but it is different. And in this season, I have to take full advantage of this because it's not always going to be like this. I'm not always going to have this time that I have right now with no one else to be responsible for. I'm just responsible for myself right now. I think that that is the beauty of purposeful waiting. If you have any bad habits or anything you don't want to take into a relationship, into a marriage, this single time, this is the time to work on that. I mean, I just can't say it enough. This time is a blessing, and I really think that this is a message that a lot of people need to hear. And I want to relate this back to fitness in that I think a lot of people see exercise and training the same way as they see singleness. And I think that a lot of people see their fitness journey as a bunch of days of physical activity, regardless of what that is, without any plan, without any strategy, as they do their single life. It's for dating just for fun and not purposefully seeing the time as a blessing and a time to strategically, purposefully get things done. See, the thing is, there's a difference between exercise and training. The exercise, the fitness I just described, is what a lot of people think a fitness journey is, but it's not a journey if you're not going anywhere. And that's the difference between exercise and training. Exercise is physical activity. There are benefits to it, just as there are benefits in dating. You get to have fun. It feels good in the moment. Most of the time. There are bad dates too, but generally speaking, dating is fun. But people who are dating just to have fun, there's no intentionality there. They may think there is, but they're not dating with that purpose in mind. Now, training, on the other hand, training is exercise with a goal. It has a beginning and it has an end. And that doesn't mean you're going to stop exercising after the end, but the end is a goal. And when you begin, you have that goal in mind. You're intentional. When you begin, you have a plan to get to the end, to the goal. And every day, you're working on improving or progressing towards that goal. Doesn't matter how small the progression is, but that is the difference between training and exercising. Exercising, it's simply moving your body. Training is moving your body mindfully, progressively, with a plan, working out that plan every single day in action through your choices, through discipline, towards an intentional goal. That, my friends, is how you should view your dating life. You should be dating with a purpose in mind. Dating and singleness, they should be intentional. If you meet someone and start dating while you're single, obviously, obviously, hopefully, expectantly. You want to be purposeful in your intention. Like, what is your intention in dating? Are you just wasting someone's time? Or are you communicating that you want to see if you have what it takes to build a life together? Are you being purposeful in your waiting and using every day and every moment to get to know God more? Are you using that time to work on improving yourself for your future spouse and family right now? There are so many social media accounts that simply focus on exercise. A lot of them are really pretty, and I follow some of them just because it is inspiring, but they don't have a goal in mind. They're just wellness accounts. They're general fitness accounts. But then there's the accounts that are people with a journey, people working towards a goal, whether it be someone training for a marathon or someone training for a bodybuilding competition or for a CrossFit meet. Those people are, in my opinion, I believe those people are so much more inspirational because they're not just posting random pictures to show somebody who's already in shape or somebody who doesn't work out intentionally, but the people and brands who post along their journey bring you in. They invite you into a journey that is intentional, that is motivating simply for the fact that you want to follow their progress and root them on. There's this unspoken sense of camaraderie. I saw it in my own journey when I was competing in bodybuilding regularly. I would post progress and updates and check-ins on my Instagram account, and I built most of my following without even trying, just because I was posting my progress towards a goal. People wanted to be a part of that, same way I want to be a part of other people's journeys like that. But when I switched, because my message isn't that clear right now, watch my last video that explains it. I'll put the link up here somewhere or in the description box below. Either way, when I switched, when I set bodybuilding aside for now or forever, I don't know, I want to compete again, but we'll see how that goes. When I switched and I don't have an intentional goal that I'm working towards right now besides maintenance, I actually lost followers. And I believe a lot of that is because I don't have that goal in front of me. I don't have that progress to follow, and people want to be a part of that. So bringing this full circle, I want to ask you, if you're single, are you anxiously waiting or are you purposefully waiting? And if you're not single, I hope you got something out of this with at least the exercise and the training analogy, because that is so real. You need a program, you need a plan, you need a goal in order to get something out of exercise. Otherwise, you're simply a hamster on a wheel, basically. You may maintain, but you're not necessarily going anywhere. It has to have challenge. It has to have resistance. You have to push yourself, even just a little bit, every time you work out. You have to improve on what you did before in order to progress. That said, I'm just gonna wrap up here, but thank you guys so much for watching. I love doing these videos for you. I hope it was helpful. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. I would love for you to be a part of my Patreon family, so check that out, and I will see you next week. If you watched all the way to the end of this video, leave me a heart emoji in the comments below.